So I'm going to start this video off in a very similar vein to how NASCAR ended the Xfinity Series race at Daytona. I'm going to keep talking. You think the intro's going to be here. It's not. Still no intro. There's still no intro. I'm still going to keep talking. Maybe we'll just go straight into the video without an intro. We're going to get into that in a little bit. But first off, welcome back to the Transatlantic transmission on Team Bomber Sports. And hope you've all been well. Hope you've been keeping good. Coke Zero 400. I've just got... My only note for that is plate racing problems. Because really, this kind of race... There wasn't really much else to talk about. Some people crashed, which often happens at plate races. Brad Keselowski won after leading pretty much the entire race. And most people were kind of eh. And here's the very simple reason why. I compare the current plate racing package, we saw this at Daytona, to scale electric car racing. You know, slot car racing. You got two cars, you got a track with two grooves in it. Two cars go side by side. For the most time, you could only have two cars on the track, one per lane. But now, with the fancy new scale electric slot car racing systems, you can have multiple cars on the same groove. But obviously, they can't pass each other. So you need, if these are the two grooves, you need like passing lanes, like sort of points on a railway line. And so you have that now. So that's how you have multiple cars on the same slot in a slot car race. The current plate racing package is kind of like that kind of slot car racing, except there's barely any of those passing points. So it is just two rows of cars just side by side going... until one car gets out in front and starts doing this. Spin. At which point it becomes Space Invaders. So for the leader, it's a game of 200 miles an hour Space Invaders. For everyone else, it's 200 mile an hour slot car racing with no passing points. I mean, at Talladega, I don't think it's quite as much of a problem because the track's wider, and it's longer, so you've got a little bit more space to move. But at Daytona, they're just cramped in. If you go 3 wide, there's literally no room. It's literally just like, I am well aware that if I move half a millimetre to the right, I am going to destroy half the field. The big culture shock for plate racing came last year, ironically, at this race with the Austin Dillon wreck. That was so scary. I think it kind of shocked people into go, holy shit. Like, I don't want to wax lyrical and tell you that the mid-2000s NASCAR was the best of all time, except that it was. Plate racing back in the day, they wouldn't be... I mean, they'd have pack racing, of course, but... I don't know, it felt more fluid. It felt more like water running down a stream or a river, and it'd sort of flow and cars would move in and out and there were spaces that would appear. You'd push one car in front, that would move away from you and there'd be a gap. Cars could move down and up and around. And you'd see guys go to the back and then come back through the field. Go to the back, come back through the field. Dale Earnhardt made an art form out of it. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. continued it on. But now it's just, as I say, especially at Daytona, it is so rigid. And even after pit stops, they just all form back up into this massive wad of 30-odd cars, just sat there nose to tail, like the world's worst M25 traffic jam at 200 miles an hour. And at Daytona, the 500 this year was 160 laps of pacing, followed by 40 laps of, we might actually want to win this race now. And stuff like that. And this race was kind of similar in that respect, but it was a little bit more wacky, especially towards the end. And like, where the margin of error is so slim, but you've got to gamble to try and win the race, you see some absolutely berserk moves. Some of the blocks, you're just like, Jesus Christ, can you not do that? One of the notable incidents of the race was Joey Logano spinning Kurt Busch on the run to the line. Why? The thing that I was reminded of most was after the whole debacle of Matt Kenseth last year, and wasn't it funny for Nico Rosberg to try and do a Matt Kenseth after the Formula 1? If anyone watched the Formula 1 and kind of know what happened, you didn't have to watch the Formula 1 to know exactly what happened, but Nico Rosberg's like, I had a brake problem. Do you know what Matt Kenseth said after he ploughed the fuck out of Joey Logano? My brakes failed. That is the dog ate my homework of motorsport excuses. Going back to that whole Martinsville thing last year, if you watch the radioactive of that race and you hear everyone's reactions to the incident, most of the drivers are either laughing or going, is anyone surprised by that? And it really struck me that it's like, hang on, I don't think Joey Logano has that much respect in the garage area. People don't do that. And moves like this are just further proof. You're just like, yeah, can you just stay away from me? Can you just not do that? But yeah, the plate package, I don't know. There is a comment section down there. I want you to propose, I don't know where my fingers are. I want you to let me know your proposal. Do you think tandems should come back? I'm kind of ambivalent on tandems. I can see why they're outlawed, but I kind of enjoyed, again, the separation, and drivers felt like they were in control. They'd team up with someone and either go to the back but have a mate to go with, or stay up the front but then sort of Like, because most of the time in tandem races, people would sort of stay in a sort of pack-ish formation, and then with final 10 laps would go, break free, instead, like tag teams, and they'd sort of charge away like that, and you'd have these sort of pods of 2 or 3 cars kind of breaking away. I want you to let me know your thoughts. I want you to let me know what your plans would be to change restrictor plate racing. You're not allowed to answer take the plates off. The only other thing to talk about out of Daytona, Brad Keselowski won the race, by the way. Second plate win. I imagine if he watched this video, he's going to be like, bitch, shut the fuck up. I don't want you to change a single thing about plate racing, because he's won 2 of them this year. So, weird incident happened in the Xfinity Series race. Very, very strange. Eric Almirola won it in a photo sort of finish with Justin Allgaier. I say a photo finish because it should have been. Big wreck on the final lap, on the back straight, cars sort of flying off and everything. The leaders have mostly got through, the rest of the field had mostly got through, and you're kind of waiting. Everyone was like, oh, they're going to throw the caution now, they're past the overtime line, it's going to happen. No, okay, they're into turn 3 now, they're letting them go. Okay, we're here for a race to the finish, they're off turn 4, it's a drag race to the... Now they throw the yellow? What? Why? Seriously, this decision really made no sense. There were some rumours that someone, it might have been Ryan Ellis, was requesting medical aid, but apparently that request also came in half a lap after the finish, so I don't understand it, but hey, consistency is not a buzzword NASCAR has had in the recent years. I want to talk NASCAR Heat Evolution now. We've had our first previews to gameplay. You think people are excited about this? But no, over the Coke Zero 400 weekend, DMI Games actually did some streams themselves. They got some well-known Twitch streamers in. The one I noticed was Deejayknight. I haven't heard of him before, but he's apparently a big Twitch streamer. He was rubbish. I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, Deejayknight, he sounded entertaining on the commentary. You know, I imagine when he's playing a game that suits him. Like, I think he said in his bio that he plays a lot of Battleborn and that. And I'm like, okay, you're probably really good at that, and it's probably really fun, but he was rubbish. He was so bad, like he couldn't even drive the thing in a straight line. This is going to sound like I'm just pitching for me to be one of their streamers or beta testers or whatever, but seriously, there are people you could have got to do the stream and to do the driving here who are NASCAR streamers, who are NASCAR YouTubers. I think that maybe would have worked better, but they went for the popular reach, a generally big Twitch streamer who, maybe he does other racing games, I don't know. It didn't look like he did on this basis, I'll be honest with you. And that's a shame, because I think it downplayed the game. It didn't make the game look good at all. What's kind of annoying me is there's a lot of negativity around it, and I don't know, like I'm going to have to take a deep breath. Firstly, do we not remember how badly things were with the ETX NASCAR games? Why are people saying that Heat Evolution is going to be worse? It looks worse than the PS3 game. Bring back the ETX games. No! This is what I don't get about the gaming community, right? I don't understand this. Gameplay footage, raw, unedited gameplay footage from a game, 2.5 months out from release. Oh, it sucks. Oh, it's shit. And then inevitably you get, because it's a racing game, you get, well, iRacing's better, of course. You should get iRacing and spend £5,000 on a rig. Conversely, you get at E3, all these big trailers for AAA games, which are hugely cinematic, pre-rendered. They have no actual gameplay in it most of the time. They actually have a warning at the bottom that's like, this is not actually gameplay footage. And you have people creaming their pants going, give me my money now. I will literally sell my ear to buy this game now. And they'll dump tons of money, like $40, $60, $80, $100 on pre-order bonuses and things like that. And then they'll still be surprised when it's released and the game's under par because they've had to rush it out to fulfill the pre-orders. They've taken $80 of your money for an unfinished game. And what did you buy it on? A trailer that had no gameplay footage. Yet when a video game shows you some actual gameplay from its early release, you pan it. I literally don't understand. No wonder games companies feel like they're not obliged to do anything for the fans anymore before launch. I don't understand where the hate for Heat is coming from. I think the game looks really solid so far. Think of the core things that you should want from a NASCAR game that I think we're going to get with this one, and we sorely didn't with ETX. Number one, we have a development team who actually gives a shit about NASCAR. Number two, DMI and Monster actually look like they give a shit about the game. How many NASCAR games did they release? NASCAR the game, Inside Line, then you had NASCAR 14 and 15. And even by the last one, which was the 4th or 5th iteration of their game, the same issues were still there. The same crappy graphics bugs, the same sound design issues, the same broken multiplayer, the same broken AI, the same broken physics. Like, any games developer who gives a shit about their product yet still releases a terminally broken product 5 years in a row does not deserve your money ever. So the fact that we've now got a development team who actually gives a shit about the game and appears to want to do a good job with it, that's a good start in itself. Like, let's be honest here. We're not in a position of privilege where we've got Codemasters or EA Sports or anything like that sniffing around the franchise. This is what we've got. We've got a small, admittedly not the biggest in terms of resources, but a small but dedicated and passionate team that are working on this thing. And from what I've seen so far, here are the things that I like. Graphically, I think it's fairly basic, granted. The sound, it is a bit weird hearing old sounds from the old NASCAR Heat games, including the tyre squeal noise. The content in the game. The tracks look good, the cars look good, the paint schemes look good. I happen to know some of the people who have done the paint schemes. I'm hoping to get them on the channel at some point to talk about the game as like a preview to it. It'll be good to talk to some of the people involved in it. The expanded career mode looks great already. I'm loving the wrestling game style creator driver where you can actually create their face and how they look and everything. I think that's brilliant. We haven't even seen any of that from the F1 games, which have been praised in the past for their extensive career modes. Well, not 2015, but still. So there's more features. There's hopefully going to be challenge modes. There's going to be a simulation handling feature. As I say, straight away, content-wise, it's starting from a strong position. But overall, I think this game is just designed to get the basics right. I think people are going in with way too high expectations, and I don't normally like to be that guy going, oh, you're expecting too much from this game, because normally I'm the one going, nah, actually, this game does genuinely suck. But I genuinely do think people are expecting a bit too much here. We're already getting to the stage where people are criticising it and saying it's dismissing it as worse than the ETX games. I don't know how you can judge a game that badly without even having played it, and it's going to have to basically ship with nothing but the Ebola virus and maybe, I don't know, Donald Trump's pubic hair on the disc to be worse than NASCAR 15. Calm the F down. I'm sure it'll be fine. The DMI. If the game now sucks, I'm going to find you. That'll just about wrap today. No, it won't. It won't, because I was kind of on Fox Sports. In the space of a couple of weeks, I was on doing an RC Racing TV trip to Portugal, and I woke up one morning in the hotel, and my phone had just exploded. Because Landon Castle, of all people, had shared the Turn 8 200 and was like, oh my god, this is an amazing stop-motion race. And he tagged Kyle Larson in it, who also was like, oh, this is amazing. And then there was Alan Cavano, a NASCAR journalist, was in there, and he was saying great stuff about it. And Kevin Hamlin, I think is his name. I think he's Casey Kane's spotter, was praising it as well. And I'm like, what? Where did this come from? Like, it's weird considering the race first came out about 6 months ago now. I then had an email from someone at Fox Sports who was like, hey, can we use this on our show at the buzzer? And I'm like, all right, let's see how this goes. And people are asking me, did I get paid for it or anything? No, not this one. To be honest, I'm more curious to see what happened. I was like, okay, I've never had this before. Let's see how this goes. Of course, it was there. It was on the Facebook page. I don't know if it was on TV or not, whether it was just an online thing, but it was across their, their social media streams and everything. And they did a great little feature on the race, and it was awesome. And I had so many people sharing it on my Facebook going, oh my god, AJ, you did a thing, and all this stuff. And it's surreal. What a way to get recognition like that. I can say basically I've been on NASCAR and Fox now, which is surreal. And everyone asking me whether I'm going to be doing more stop motions, you better be lucky of this. This is giving me all the motivation I need. We're going to be working on the Great Britain 500 very soon. I know it's been way overdue. Sit tight. It's incoming. That'll just about wrap up this week's Transatlantic Transmission. I'm going to try and make these weekly from here on out on Tuesdays. So lock in every Tuesday. Hopefully you'll see these, and you'll also see other stuff like the Classic Race Club, gaming videos over on Bomber Sports Plays. Hopefully more stop motions very soon. See you next time, race fans.